And welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another video. I hope that you're all doing good. If it is your first time to be my channel, please subscribe and turn on the bell icon. That will appear after subscribing the channel, and after doing that you'll be the first one to get all the latest news about Kaizer Chiefs that we are providing each and every day. Coast Nation fans, here this is where all Coast Nation fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. So here we are just discussing everything that is happening at Nature Arena. And for those of you, if you're here, you may now join us by subscribing the channel. Remember to turn on the bell icon that will appear after subscribing the channel. And after doing that, you'll be the first one to get all the latest news about Kaizer Chiefs that you are providing each and every day. Coast Nation fans, today I have some news that I want to share with you in this video. So what you need to know right now, please stay here and watch the video until the end. And without wasting any time, now let's dive into the story and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. As a new season begins now, Kaizer Chiefs management are currently working very serious behind the scene as the club continues its preparation for this new season that has been officially begins. And Kaizer Chiefs, after finishing the third league during the 2025 and 2026 football season, now the club is expecting to challenge for a domestic and continental football ahead of this new season that has been officially begins. And now the club it continues its preparation for this new season by strengthening its squad to make sure that they are going to do the different things that they have done on the previous season under ex-coaches Karim Ben Youssef and Mr. Ricky Kaz. But in today's video, we are going to talk about among the players who reported to be linked with a move to Kaizer Chiefs, and what's his league going right now, and what is all about his current situation at his current club. And in this video, we are going to talk about Tapelo Maseko, among the Santos player who reported to be linked with a move to Nature Arena. At the same time, Mamelodi Sundowns are reportedly to be in talks with him as a club, looking on how they can decide before the PSL transfer window closes. Now, according to the true trusted sources, Tapelo Maseko rejects Mamelodi Sundowns return, while Miguel Cardoso reveals attacker wants out. Tapelo Maseko's future at Mamelodi Sundowns has taken another dramatic turn, with head coach Miguel Cardoso confirming that the 22-year-old attacker wants to leave the club. And now, what looked like a normal transfer situation has developed into a major stall at the club. Maseko has reportedly been given an opportunity to return to the Mamelodi Sundowns squad, but the young attacker has rejected that chance. For a club that has dominated South African football and recently lifted the CAF Champions League trophy, losing a player of Maseko's potential would be a significant development. But perhaps the biggest revelation from Cardoso is that this situation is not about a personal disagreements. The Mamelodi Sundowns coach has made it clear that he has spoken with Maseko, and according to Cardoso, those discussions were positive. So if there is no bad blood between the player and the coach, why does Maseko still wants to leave? That is the question now hanging over one of the most talked about a transfer situation involving a young South African attacker. Cardoso breaks his silence. Miguel Cardoso has finally provided a clarity on Maseko's situation, and his comments paint a very interesting picture. The Portuguese coach insisted that there are no personal problems between himself and the player. In fact, Cardoso says he recently had positive discussions with Maseko. That is important because a situation like this can quickly become complicated when a player is unhappy with his position at the club. But Cardoso appears determined to separate the footballing decisions from any personal relationship. The coaching position is simple. If Maseko wants to stay at Mamelodi Sundowns, the door is open. If he wants to leave, however, Cardoso is not going to force him to remain at the club. And that could ultimately be the biggest reason why the situation has reached this point. Maseko has made his position clear. The most significant development is that Maseko has apparently made his feeling known. The 22-year-old rejected an opportunity to return to the squad. That decision cannot be ignored. For a young player at one of Africa's biggest clubs, turning down the chance to return to the first team is a major step. It is suggested that Maseko has already thought carefully about his future and believes that moving on could be the best decision for his career. At just 22 years old, Maseko still has a branch of a football ahead of him. He needs a legend of football. He needs a confidence. And perhaps most importantly, he needs an environment where he can continue developing and prove what he is capable of. Mamelodi Sundowns can offer trophies, continental footballs, elite facilities, and complication against some of the best players on the continent. But those benefits means a little if a player does not believe he has the role he wants within the team. That appears to be at the heart of Maseko's decisions. Cardoso doesn't want unwilling praise. Cardoso's philosophy has also become very clear. The Sanders coach has indicated that he prefers not to work with players who are unwilling to be part of his squad. This is a strong stance from a coach who has already guided the club to major success. Cardoso wants players who are committed to his plans and willing to fight for their positions. He does not want to build a dressing room around players who would later be somewhere else. And that is why he has reportedly told Maseko that Mamelodi Sundowns remains an option if he changes his mind. There is no dramatic at Matam. There is no indication of a personal feud. Instead, the message appears to be if you want to say, we'll welcome you, and if you want to leave, we'll respect your decisions. That gives Maseko a significant amount of responsibility for what happens next. So why would Maseko want to leave Mamelodi Sundowns? This is where the situation becomes particularly interesting. Maseko is still very young, but he is already a player with significant expectations surrounding him. At Mamelodi Sundowns, however, competition for places is extremely intense. The club has assembled a squad packed with equality and depth, particularly in attacking positions. For a young players, breaking into such a squad consistently can be extremely difficult. Even talented players can find themselves playing limited minutes because of the number of established stars competing for the same positions. And from a Seko's perspective, regional football clubs, could be more important than simply being part of a trophy-winning squad. At 22, he cannot afford to spend too much time watching Kensi from the sideline. He needs to be on the pitch. He needs to make mistakes. He needs to learn. He needs to score goals and create assists. He needs to build momentum that could explain why a move away from Mamelodi Sundowns is becoming increasingly attractive. A big career decisions. Maseko now finds himself at a crossroads. One option is to remain at Mamelodi Sundowns and fight for his praise. The other is to move somewhere else and potentially become a more important player. Either decision is a guarantee to work. Staying at Sundowns could eventually pay off. The competition could make him a better player, and if he earns Cardoso's trust, he could become an important member of the squad. But the leaving could give him something eventually valuable, a consistent playing time. And for a player trying to establish himself at international level, a legend of football could make a huge difference. This is why Maseko's next move will be watched so closely. It is not simple about changing a club. It could have a major impact on the directions of his career. The transfer questions. Of course, the biggest question now is where Maseko could end up if he leaves Mamelodi Sundowns. There has already been significant interest surrounding the winger And his situation is likely to attract even more attention following Cardoso's racist comments. The fact that the coach has publicly acknowledged the Maseco's desire to leave could encourage potential suitors to make their move. For interested clubs, this represents an opportunity to sign a talented young South African attacker who still has significant room for development. But Mamelodi Sundowns are unlikely to simply give away a player of Maseco's potential. Any deal would have to make sense for the club. Mamelodi Sundowns have invested heavily in building one of the strongest squad in Africa, and they will want to protect the value of their players. That means negotiation could become another important part of this development stall. Now, war between Maseko and Cardoso. One thing that appears increasingly clear is that this is not a all about a filling out between Maseko and Cardoso. The coach has specifically stressed is that there are no personal issues between them. That is an important distinction. Football is full of a situation where players and coaches disagree, but this appears to be more about a player's clear decisions. Maseko wants and thinks different. Cardoso respects that, and Sanders are prepared to leave the door open. That may actually make the situation easier to resolve. There is no need for a public war. There is no need for occasions. There is simply a young player who appears to believe that his future lies somewhere else. This is a true talk where Kaizer Chiefs meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. So for now, drop my thought in the comment section below and tell me where are you watching from.